we have flexible AC transmission devices. We call them FAT devices.
Hey, what's going on,
Those
guys?
are power electronic
I
based
just want to continue
devices,
from the
not static
last
devices or passive
last
devices.
video I
So
made about this
some
book.
series reactors and
Now,
capacitors are
when I
static
finished
passive.
last video, I
Okay.
was in
Uh, to control
page
them, we need
8.
to use mechanical
Now let's
switches.
go
We
back
need to
there.
use mechanical switches to decrease or increase the capacitance or the
Okay,
inductance
here we go.
of the device under control. But
This is the one I last read.
those FAT
About one
devices
five
are
of us
based on
retired.
power electronics.
About two-thirds of us who are working are
Switches
self-employed.
emit neon signals,
Interestingly,
so they are
self-employed people
more
make up less than
flexible.
20% of the workers
Okay,
in America,
and
but accounts of
also
two-thirds of millionaires.
um,
Also, 3 out of 4
they provide
of us who are
many
self-employed
services
consider
other than
ourselves to be
reactive
the
power support or
entrepreneurs.
active power
Most
support. They
others
can control the active
most
power
others are
flow between
self-employed
the different
professionals such as
devices,
doctors, accountants.
and
So as you can see,
they
like the
are
more you're
nowadays
self-employed,
they are
the
not
higher
that expensive
chance you are
as
going to have like more wealth.
okay.
That's the thing. And the next
Okay,
thing
now
it says
let's
is
look
many of the
at
types of
the
business we are
components
in could
inside
be
a substation.
classified as dull normal. We are welding contractors,
Okay, so inside a
auctioneers,
substation,
rice farmers,
we
owners
have
of mobile
the
home
primary
parks,
side
pest controllers, coin and
and we
stamp
have
dealers,
the
and
secondary
paving
side.
contractors. About half of our wives
Inside
do not work outside
any
the home.
substation,
Number
the
one
heart of the
occupation for those wives
substation is a
who
transformer.
do work is teacher. Our
So
households
to
our
go
total
back to this
annual
circuit,
realized taxable
to pull
income
up this
is
simple circuit
one
where
thirty
we
one thousand dollars,
indicated four main
median of
components for
50th
the power system.
percentile, while our average
This
income
part,
is
this bracket, is a
247,000.
substation. So the
Note that
transformer
those
connected
of
to
us
the
who have income
generator
in
to the
the
generator is a
500,000
substation.
to
So it's not a simple
999,999
what they
category
call a
8
single
percentage, and the 1 million or
device
more
or
category 5 percentage skew the
a
average
single
upward.
transformer just connecting the
We
generator
have
to
an
the
average
power.
household net worth of
We have different
3.7
components
million
connecting this
dollars.
transformer,
Of course, some of
okay,
our
to
cohorts
the
have
primary
accumulated
side
much more.
and the
Nearly 6
secondary side. As you know,
percentage
any
have a
transformer is two
net worth
sides.
of over 10
So
million.
if you look at the primary
Again,
side,
these people
we have a
skew
taller.
our average upward. The typical median
We can
of
have like
50th
a
percentile
taller
millionaire
tower
household has
like
a
this
net worth
connecting,
of
which indicates that
$1.6
this is
million.
the high voltage side.
On average, our total
On the
annual
secondary side,
realized
we
income is less than
like
7% of our wealth.
make a
In other
shorter
words, we
tower. So
live
this is
on
the
less than
low side, or it could
7%
be the other way.
of our wealth.
If
Wow,
this
that's
transformer
crazy.
is connected,
And the next thing is,
aligned
most of
with
us,
to the system,
97%
then
are
the
homeowners.
substation
We
will be
live in
stepped
homes
down.
currently valued at an
If we are
average
connecting
of
a generator to the transmission system, then this
320,000. About
substation might
half of
step
us
up to
have
a substation.
occupied the same
Okay,
home
so we
for
have
more than
the primary
20
side,
years.
we
Thus,
have the
we have
secondary
enjoyed
side,
significant increases in the value of our
okay,
homes.
we have
Most of us have
power
never
lines,
felt
those power
at a
lines,
disadvantage because we did not receive
we
any
have
inheritance.
ground
About
wire
80%
in
of
one,
us are first generation
and the
affluent.
ground wire is
We
essential
live well below our
when
means.
we
We wear
supply the
inexpensive
distribution
suits
systems,
and drive
when
American
we supply
made cars.
distribution systems. And
Only a
on the
minority of
primary
us
side
drive the
is high
current
voltage
model
and the lower
year
side is high
automobile.
voltage,
Only a minority ever
because
lease
single phase
our motor
lines,
vehicles.
they need ground.
Most of our wives
There is
are
another
planners
reason
and meticulous
behind the
budgeters.
usage of this
In
ground
fact,
wire is to
only 18% of
uh,
us disagreed with the statement
like
charity begins
is
at home.
to
Most of us will tell you that our wives are a lot
act
more
as a surge
conservative with money
arrestor.
than we are.
So
We have
if
a
there is
go to
lightning,
hell fund.
the first
In other words, we have
line of
accumulated enough
defense
wealth
will be the
to,
grounding
to
wire.
live without working for
Will be the
10
grounding
or
wire.
more
The
years.
lightning will
Thus,
strike
those of
the
us
grounding
with
wire
net worth of
because
$1.6
it is
million
at the top
could
of the
live
tower.
comfortable
Okay, it's
for
at the top
more
of the
than
tower, at the
12
top
years.
of the
Actually,
tower.
we could
So
live
the
longer than
lightning will
that
strike,
since we
it will
serve
strike,
at least
absorb this
15
ground,
percentage of
the
our
ground will dissipate its energy. There is
percentage of
huge
our
energy in the light,
earned income.
in
We have
light.
more than six
This
and
energy
one and a
will
half
strike
times of the
first
levels
the
of wealth
ground
of our
wire and then
non-millionaires neighbors.
dissipate.
But in our neighborhoods,
The
these
ground dissipate.
non-millionaire
If we don't
outnumber
have this
us better
ground wire,
than
if we don't
3
have
to
this ground
1.
wire, then the lightning
Could it
bolt
be
will
that they
strike
have
the bottom
chosen
of the
to
tower,
trade wealth for acquiring
and
high
this part
status
of the
material
tower
possessions?
is here.
As a
Okay,
group, we
this here is
fairly well
not
educated.
conductive. It is not
Only about 1 in
conductive.
5
And
are
here we
not
have
college
the three
graduates.
bases of the tower.
Many of us hold advanced
Again, the
degrees.
concrete, we have the
18%
conductive
have
fire
master
resistant.
degrees,
So the
8%
power of
law
this
degrees,
lightning will
6%
go
medical
through
degrees,
the tower
and
and
6%
reach and
PhDs.
it will destroy
Only
the base of the
17%
tower.
of us or our spouse who attend to private elementary or private high school,
protect the tower, we
but
have to underground the
55%
tower
of us
to
children are
compensate or to
currently
compensate the
attending
life
or
loss.
have
This is
attended
one thing.
private
So
schools.
we protect the
As a
tower,
group, we
and
believe
also
that
we
education
protect
is extremely important for
the life,
ourselves, and our children, and our
the
grandchildren.
installations
We spend heavily for the
connect the
education
line
of our
to
offspring.
the tower. So suppose
About
we
two-thirds of
have
us
like a
work
cloud
between
here.
45
This
and
cloud
55 hours per week. We are
and we have
fastidious
the tower
investors on
here.
average.
We have the
We
tower
invest
here, and
nearly
we have another tower
20%
here,
of
but we have
our
three lines.
household realized income each
So
year.
the lightning is
Most of
coming
us
from the
invest
tower,
at least
but it could strike
15%.
the line itself.
79% of us have at least
Phase A or
one
B
account
or
with
C.
a
So
brokerage company,
the power
but
of this
we make our own investment decisions.
lightning
We hold nearly
goes through the
20% of our
wires
household wealth in
made of carbon,
transactions,
and then
securities such
destroys
as
insulation.
publicly
We have
traded
insulated
stocks
cement in the
and
wires
mutual
in the tower.
funds,
So
but we
when also
rarely sell
lose
our equity investments. We
the
hold even
melting
more in
line,
our pensions
we
plans.
also lose the
On
insulation.
average,
Okay,
21%
so
of our
this is
household wealth
another
is in our
benefit of
private
the
businesses.
grounding wire. It provides us with
As a
ground
group, we feel that our daughters are
money
financially
for our
handicapped
clothes.
in
This is
comparison to our
during
sons.
normal
Men
conditions,
seems to make much
and
more
during
money
abnormal
even within
conditions,
the
if we
same
have
occupational
lightning,
categories.
then it will
That is
protect the
why
tower,
most of us
protect the
would not
insulators,
hesitate to
other
share some
things.
of our wealth with our daughters. Our sons and men in general have a
Okay,
deck of economic cards
we have
stacked in their
overhead
favor.
lines.
They should not need
Those are
subsidies
the overhead
from their
lines.
parents. What would be the ideal
We have
occupation for
voltage
our sons and
transformers.
daughters?
Number
There
four.
are about
So this is the
3.5
voltage
millionaire
transformer.
households like ours. Our
This is
numbers are
not
growing much faster than
similar
the
to the
general population. Our
power
kids should
transformer in the
consider
middle
providing
of the
affluent
substation.
people with
This voltage
some valuable
transformer
service.
is used
Overall,
for
our most
measuring.
trusted finance advisors are our accountants. Our attorneys are also very
What
important.
also
So,
means
we recommend
so
accounting and
a
law
high
to
voltage
our
line.
children.
Okay, we
Tax
need
advisors and real estate
a
planning
voltage transformer with
experts
insulators in order to
will be in big demand over the
have
next 15 years.
safe
I am
measurements
a tightwad.
and
That's one of
supply
the main
of
reason I completed a long
readings to
questionnaire for a
our
crispy
protection
$1
relay
bill.
or
Why
our
else would I
monitoring
spend
system.
2 or 3 hours being
Number
personally
five
interviewed by
here is the
these
switch.
authors? They paid me
It's
100,
here. This
200,
is the
or
switch.
250, or they made
This switch
me another offer to donate
isolates
in
the
my name
circuit
the
when it is
money I
affected, but
earned
it does not isolate the
for my
circuit when there is
interview
current.
to
Okay, the
to my
current
favorite
from the line
charity.
should be
But I
zero
told
current
them
before
I
we
am my favorite
activate the
charity.
switch.
Wealthy
So
defined.
this switch
Ask the
is not
average
capable of
American to define the
disconnecting the
term
circuit
wealthy. Most would
when the
give the same
circuit
definition
carries current.
founders Webster's
When the circuit
found in
carries current,
Webster's.
or when the circuit
Wealthy
supplies
to
the
them
circuit.
refers to people who have the
Okay,
abundance of
first
material
we have
possessions.
to
We define wealthy
have
differently. We
in
do
our
not
clothing
define wealthy,
line
affluent,
and
or rich in terms of material
all
possessions. Many people
circuit
who
or all
display a
circuit.
high
What is the
consumption
benefit?
lifestyle have
It
little or
doesn't
no
isolate
investment appreciable
the circuit when it
assets,
carries current.
income
The
producing
benefit
assets,
of this
common stocks,
switch is
bonds,
to
private
provide
business,
protection
oil, gas rights,
to the
or timberland.
personnel who are working
Conversely,
the
those
substation
people
personnel.
whom we define as being
So when there is
wealthy
a fault,
get much more
we
pleasure
use
from
the circuit
owning
breaker
substantial
element
amount
on the
of
set.
appreciable
Circuit
assets
breaker
than from displaying a
isolate
high
the fault, even
consumption
if the line
lifestyle.
is carrying current. And of course, the line will be carrying
The
current when we
nominal
use
definition
it,
of wealthy.
not
One
just
on one way we
the moment
determine whether someone
the
is
current is
wealthy or
supplied
not
to the
is
line.
based on
Okay,
net worth.
when there is a
Cattle,
short
not
circuit.
chattel.
So the circuit breaker is capable of
Net worth
doing
is
that.
defined as the
Okay,
current
but what
value
we
of
need is to
one's
make the
asset
circuit.
less liabilities,
Okay, we
exclude the
need
principal
to
in our trust
isolate
accounts.
the
In
line
this
and
book, we
discharge
define the
any
threshold level of being wealthy as having a net
deposits
worth of
accumulated
$1 million
over the
or more.
surface
Based
of the
on this
trust.
definition,
In order
only
to do that, we need to split
3.5
to
percentage of the
isolate the
100
circuit
million households in
from
America
the high voltage
are
side from the
considered
low voltage
wealthy.
side,
About
and then
95%
connect the
of
line to the
millionaires
tower.
in
This is the
America have
benefit
a
of the
net
switch.
worth between
The circuit
1
breaker
million
is not equipped
and 10
or is
million.
not designed to do this.
One
Okay,
one
we have the switch. This is for protecting the personnel,
million and 10
isolating
million.
the
Much
circuit when
of
the
the
circuit
discussion in
is
this
faulty
book centers
somehow.
on this segment
Number seven, we
of the
have current
population.
transformers. This
Why
current
why the
transformer,
focus on this group?
they are
Because
used for measurements,
this level
similar
of
to the
wealth
voltage
can be
transformer.
attained in one generation. It can be
Okay,
attained by many Americans.
then we have
How
lightning
wealthy should
arresters.
you
Number
be?
eight,
Another way of
the
defining
lightning
wealth,
arresters have the
whether
same function
or
as
not a
the
person
grounding wire.
household
Okay, they
or
protect the
family is
insulators
wealthy, is based
inside
on
the substation.
one's expected
overowned
level of net worth.
or overcurrent
A person's
vehicle
income and age are strong determinants
okay.
of
We have the big transformer, the heart
of
of the substation. We have control building here, power system engineers. They said to monitor the system, control the power flow
okay.
from one bus to another
Where did I
bus,
stop?
receive,
Yeah.
dispatch
Discussion
commands
book
from the
centers
system
much of
control unit,
why
from
focus on
process
because the level of
operators
wealth can be
such
attained
as others
in one generation. It can be attained
number
by
11, we
many
have
Americans.
security fence
How wealthy you
to make
should
sure
be.
that no
Another way we
animal
define well
can
whether a
trespass
person
and enter the
whether or not a
substation
person,
or
household or
damage any of the
family is
electrical
wealthy
system
is based on
the fence.
one's expected level of net worth. A person's income and age are strong
Security
determinants
fence.
of how much that person should be worth.
And we have second
In other words,
outcomes
the
of
higher
income.
one's income, the higher one's net worth is expected
So
to
each
be,
one of
assuming
the
one is working
components
and
in
not
inside
retired.
the substation.
Similarly, the
By the way,
longer
inside the
one is
substation, we have
generating income,
a grounding system
the more
under or
likely
beneath
one will
the
accumulate
substation. There are
more and
many
more wealth. So
grounding
higher income
wires
people who are older should have accumulated more wealth than
that
lower
conduct
income
the equipment
producers who are younger.
and make sure that
For most people in America
any
with annual realized income
overload
of
or
$50,000 or more,
lightning or neutral fault
and for most people
is disabling the
25
safety
to
of the ground.
65 years of
Okay,
age,
so the resistance,
there
the
are
resistance of
there is a
the ground
corresponding expected level of
under
wealth.
the
Those who
substation is
are
very low. It's
significantly
not
above
that
this level
resistance
can
like
be
if we
considered
count
wealthy in relation to others
in the
in
past
their income
from
age
10 to 1. The
cohort.
resistance here could be
You may ask,
100,000
how can someone be
or
considered
more,
wealthy if,
but the
for
resistance
example,
of
he
the
is
ground
worth only
under the
for
substation is much
$60,000?
lower.
After all, he is not a
Could be
millionaire.
1 volt or 0.1 volt.
Charles Robbins is a 41-year
Amazing.
old
Yeah.
fireman. His wife is a
Any questions?
secretary. They have a combined annual income of
See.
$55,000. According to our research
Uh,
findings, Mr. Bobbins
okay, I've got a
should have a
question
net worth of
asking about
approximately
how do they make sure that they make
$225,500,
more than 10%?
but he is
Yeah,
worth
they do
much more
that
than
using both
others in
motivation.
his income age
Yes,
category.
both motivation.
Mr. and Mrs. Bobbins
So
have
here
been able to
they
accumulate an
see
above
the
average amount
transformer
of net worth.
returns ratio,
Thus, they apparently know
and
how to live on a
increase the amount of
fireman's
voltage of
and
the
securities
transformer
income and still
or
save
decrease it in
and
order
invest
to
a
make
good
sure
bit.
that the voltage of
They
the
likely
circuit
have a
is
low
not
consumption
deviating
lifestyle, and
much.
give this lifestyle,
This
Mr.
is
Bobbins
something I'm
could
gonna
sustain
explain to
himself
you.
and
And
his
by the way, this
family
market that
for
we
10
talked
years
about,
without working.
that
Within their
will
income and age categories,
build
the Bobbins are
has
wealthy.
a
The
component or
Bobbins
has
are
a
quite
question
different from
about
John
voltage
J.
regulator.
Ashton,
Um,
MD, age 55, who has an annual income of approximately
this is a question provided
$560,000.
about
How much
volume
is
and
Dr.
current.
Ashton
So I'll
worth?
give an easier
Is
path
he
to the
wealthy?
ground
According
for
to
the
one
unknown
definition,
part
he
as well.
since his
No,
net worth is
actually,
like
this wire is not
$1.1 million,
it's
but
not
he is not
carrying the voltage.
wealthy according
So
to our
here,
definition.
look,
Give
we have
his
a
age
generator.
and income, he should be worth more than 3 million.
The generator is
With
phase
his
A,
high
we said.
consumption lifestyle, how long do you think Dr.
So phase
Ashton
A,
could sustain
let's
himself
say
and
is
family if he were
is
no longer
100.
employed? Perhaps
I want to make it simple.
for 2
124.
or at most 3
Phase
years.
B is the same, 124. Phase C is
Whatever your
100.
age, whatever your income,
The
how
ground
much you
wire is here.
should be worth right now.
Is from this
From
point.
years of surveying various high income, high net worth
This is
people,
the ground wire.
we have developed several
The voltage of the
multivariable
ground
based
wire is
wealth
here.
equations. A
Okay.
simple rule of thumb,
So this
however,
ground
is more
wire,
than
like if you look at this
adequate in
figure,
computing
the
one's
ground
expected
wire
net worth.
is not
Multiply
connected
your age
to the
times
phases.
your
So we
realized
have
pre-tax
A,
annual
B,
household
and C. This is
income
ground.
from all the
It is not
sources
connected.
except
There is
inheritances,
no connection
divided by
between A
10.
and B
This
or C
less any
and the ground
inherited
wire.
wealth
These are
is
the
what
ratio.
your
It's
net
like the
worth should be.
open wire and the
For
voltage of
example,
this
if
ground
Mr.
wire
Anthony
is everything
or
is zero.
Duncan is 41-year-old, makes 140,000 a year
And
and
this is a
has
wire
investment
keeping
that
the
returns
flow.
another 12,000,
If it's
he would
connected to the
multiply
grounding wire,
155,000
the
by
grounding wire
41
is under the substation.
and
So there is a
equal
ground. There is like three rods and there is a
$6,355,000.
network under the
Dividing by
substation
10, his net
to
worth
make
should
sure
be
that
like
the grounding resistance is
635,000
very low under the substation. If you say
$635,500.
to this ground
If
wire,
Mrs. Lucy R. Frankel is 61
so
and
if
he
there is a
has
lightning
total annual
strike,
realized income
it
of
will go from the ground wire to
235,000,
that
her net worth
base under
should
the
be
substation, and everything will be dissipated.
1,433,500.
So instead of dissipating the power of lightning
Given your age
through
and
the
income,
equipment,
how does your net
through
worth
the
match up?
transformer,
Where do you stand along the wealth
generators, what we're
continuum?
gonna provide
If you are in top quartile for wealth accumulation, you are a power or pretty accumulator of wealth. If you are a bottom quartile, you are a UAW, under accumulator of wealth. Are you a PAW or UAW or just an AAW? AAW is average accumulator of wealth. We have developed another symbol role to be well positioned in the PAW category. You should be worth twice the level of wealth expected. In other words, Mr. Duncan's net worth wealth should be approximately twice the expected value or more of for his income or age code or 635,500 multiplied by 2 equals 1,271,000. If Mr. Duncan's net worth is approximately 1.27 million or more, he is a prodigious accumulator of wealth. Conversely, what if his level of wealth is one half or less than expected for all those in income per age category? Mr. Duncan would be classified as a UAW if his level of wealth were 317,750 or less, one half of 635,500. PAWs versus UAWs. PAWs are builders of wealth. That is, they are the best at building net worth compared to others in their income per age category. PAWs typically have a minimum of 4 times the wealth accumulated by UAWs. Contrasting the characteristics of PAW and UAW is one of the most revealing parts of the research we have conducted over the past 20 years. A good example of the difference between PAWs and UAWs is revealed in 2 case studies. Mr. Miller Baba Richards, age 50, is the proprietor of a mobile home dealership. His total household income last year was $90,200. Mr. Richards' net worth, as computed via the wealth equation, is expected to be $451,000, but Baba is a PAW. His accumulated wealth is 1.1 million. His counterpart James H. Ford, Mr. Ford, age 51, is an attorney. His name last year was 92,330, slightly more than Mr. Richards. What Mr. Ford actually net worth? His expected level of wealth. Mr. Ford actual net worth is 226,511, while his expected level of wealth is 470,883. Mr. Ford, by our definition, is an under accumulator of wealth. Mr. Ford spent 7 years in college. How can he possibly gain? No. Possibly begin. No. One of the major myths concerning wealth is country-related ethnic origin. Too many people think that American affluent population is comprised predominantly of direct descendants of the Mayflower voyages. Let's examine this assumption objectively. What if country of origin were the major factor in explaining variation in wealth? We would expect that more than half American millionaire population would be English ancestry. This is not the case. In our most recent national surveys, millionaires, we asked respondents to designate their country of origin and ancestry. The result may surprise you. English. Okay, so they gave all the data of the millionaires. You can see German people are more millionaire in the US than English people, and Irish, Italian. So there are all type of people, not only just English. Now let's go and continue. The designate English as their ethnic origin accounted for 21.1% of millionaire population. People of English origin account for 10.3% of the United States household population in general. Thus, American millionaires of English origin are more prevalent than expected. Given their numbers in the US population, 10.3 versus 21.1%, In other words, this group has a millionaire concentration ratio of 2.06, 21.1 percentage of the millionaire household divided by 10.3 percentage of the household headed by persons of English origin, meaning that people English origin are about twice as likely to head households in the millionaire category than would be expected from their portion of household in America. And yet, what percentage of the English ancestry group in America is the millionaire category? Would you expect the English group to rank first? In fact, it ranks fourth. According to our research, 7.71% of all households in the English category have a net worth of $1 million or more. Three other ancestry groups have significantly higher concentration of millionaires. How can it possibly be possible that the English ancestry group does not have the highest concentration of millionaire households? After all, they were among the first Europeans to arrive in the New World. They were on the ground floor to take economic advantage in this land of opportunity. In 1790 colonial America, more than two-thirds of households were headed by a self-employed person. In America, the achievement of the current generation are more a factor in explaining the wealth accumulation than what has taken place in the past. Again, most American millionaires today, about 80%, are first generation rich. Typically, the fortunes built by these people will be completely dissipated by the second or third generation. The American economy is fluid one. There are many people today who are on their way to becoming wealthy, and there are many others who are spending their way out of the affluent category, winning ancestry groups. If the English ancestry group does not have the higher concentration of million households, then which group does? The Russian ancestry group ranks first. The Scottish ranks second, and the Hungarian ranks third. Although the Russian ancestry group account for only. Okay, I am gonna be stopping here right now because I don't think like going more in one video is good. So I'm just gonna stop here and continue on my next video. I hope you guys find this video helpful. Thanks for watching. See you guys on my next video.